Are you fed up with constantly searching for the records you want? Are you tired and frustrated from always straightening out your LPs?
Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! You know I need someone. Help!
What's going on?
Okay, so I now do a show where I break into people's houses and I look at their so-called collections. I wanted to take a look at your record collection, man.
Cool. I'll show you these ones first. This was how I got started. I'll take them out in kind of chunks here. These were all of my dad's that he left to me. It was kind of our thing. That's why I got into it in the first place. They're all from like the 60s and 70s. You know, we got the Beatles, Blue Oyster Cult, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. This one's really kind of a goofy one. David Bromberg. There's a lot of that he had that were stored improperly, and so they kind of warped because they're, you know, like left in a basement, and they kind of got too wet, so they'd warp and.
Right. Well, it's so weird too. Like, I guess at the time, people, you know, literally got records the same way they got like CDs, or I guess nowadays, you know, buying on iTunes. But you know, no one really, I guess, thought about.
No, yeah, they just store them away because, you know.
Like, is there anybody at the time when as far as getting like records in you said this is like the 60s almost, or late 60s, early 70s. Like, was there anybody who was thinking like someday, oh yeah, this record's gonna cost a lot?
No,
nobody. That's so weird.
Well, like, you know, some of these have stickers on there where they're like $3. Like my dad would say, he'd go to the grocery store and get like 45s for literally 50 cents a piece, where it's like, you know, it's only 2 songs or 4 songs or whatever. But.
That's like the old iTunes, going to the grocery store and being like, all right, I gotta buy this song.
Yeah. I
was gonna ask you, so, and I know you kind of flipped through it, but like, so most of these are original printings then? So these...
almost, I'm assuming all of them are, or at least almost all of them are, like, yeah, it says, well, this one isn't, this one came out in 81, but the record came out in 75. So like within, you know, give or take a few years, as in like, you know, you'd buy them at the time, you know, you buy a CD or whatever you listen to. It's within a couple year range, you know.
Good old Willie.
Yeah. This one here, this was one that I listened to the most of my dad's collection. He is the biggest Neil Young fan ever. Like, he just loves Neil Young. And actually, this right here, it's called I'm Happy That Y'all Came Down. It's a printing that was... So this isn't the cover that came out in stores. It's a live album from 71, it says. But they had this company that printed them, and they weren't... I don't remember exactly why, but they stopped production of this particular one pretty early. So there aren't that many of them. And my dad, like, he obviously knew about it, big Neil Young fan. Cool story about it. He's at a poker game with his buddies, and he knew his friend had this, and he wanted it from him forever. And his friend ended up, you know, losing all of his money in this poker game. So then he asked him, hey, I'll sell you that copy. So my dad bought it for like $50.
Oh yeah.
So he ended up getting it from him from a poker game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty rare, actually.
You got like a whole wall there. I feel like you got to fill up with more.
Well, and actually, I'll show you this one too. I have this I'm going to put up at some point. I haven't found a good spot to do it, but it's a Damn, Kendrick Lamar, signed.
Oh yeah, you do got it signed right there.
Yeah.
Did you didn't meet him, did you?
No, I actually bought it online. When this came out on his website, he had a limited edition or limited supply of them, and so I scooped it up right away because I wanted to.
I'm trying to remember, like, so the original, I know that's the one that he signs the original cover, but there's that second version on there. Is that like a different...
No, this is actually just this is the whole sleeve, just like, this is the back side of it. So it's just laid out.
Okay.
This is just what the back side of the record looked like.
Because I'm trying to remember, like, I thought for a second that was the case where like he released another album with the same name. Was that not a thing that happened?
So what happened was that he released a collector's edition of it where it was the track list, but it was flipped. Like it went from last to first.
Yeah.
And it was just a black and white cover. It was just a kind of a collector's edition. I think there's a pretty like artsy meaning behind it, but
Okay.
this one too. This one I actually just made a TikTok about my records, and this is one that I would recommend. It's probably not one that a lot of people know, but again, it's Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Neil Young is in this band, and it's just a phenomenal album. Deja Vu, Bob Seger. We got Alice Cooper here. All classic here. Simon and Garfunkel.
I love that. I love that cover art too.
Look at that.
Which I'm sure
they look like best friends.
That guy, he kind of looks like, and I got the shadow here, but it almost looks like Paul Rudd.
Oh my god!
Like if they were to make a movie, I could see Paul Rudd and Neil Patrick Harris. They could play the leads of the Simon and Garfunkel movie.
A younger Will Ferrell.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Oh man.
This is just Anchorman.
He's got the hair. Oh yeah, that is pretty much what they look like in Anchorman.
It pretty much is actually.
Took Ron Burgundy and gave him some like
Ron and Brian.
Yeah, that's weird.
Another Simon and Garfunkel here, and Steve Miller Band. So these were all the original. Oh, sorry, these were all the originals that my dad had that he left to me. Most recent one that I bought, actually, it's a very cool box set for the Mac Miller fans. It's called Swimming in Circles. It's his last 2 albums that he released, but in one box set.
Oh yeah, and I'm like looking at like how they kind of did that there, Swimming.
Yeah, because there's one album it's called Swimming, and another album called Circles.
Which one I've listened to Circles, but
Circles is the one that was posthumous. So Swimming was the last one that he released while he was alive.
That's a real cool idea though. Like, so when you take it out of there, does it?
Yeah, I'll show you. There's so there's some really cool stuff involved. Like this is just a little picture booklet. It's got a bunch of pictures of Mac in here. And, this right here is exactly why I buy records, for just the extra stuff that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, a big part of it is the sound that you get. It is a fuller sound to the music, and I really do find that to be a big difference. But buying physical copies of vinyls, this is the type of stuff that I just love, because you get really cool insights to the recording process of an album, whether it be just in pictures or sometimes they have notes from the artist or whatever, These two, the blue ones are Swimming, and then these ones are Circles. Another artist that I personally enjoy, I got the sweatshirt on right now, is Logic. I'm actually 2 albums away from collecting all of his. I have Supermarket. I have No Pressure. I bought two No Pressures, actually kind of on accident. I bought this one. It's an alternate cover.
I was gonna say I've never seen that one, and
they just released it as like an alternate cover. I didn't know I bought it, but then I realized I didn't get the actual one, so I just got both of them. There's they're both packaged exactly the same. This one is Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I really like the packaging of this one. It's kind of nostalgic looking and also futuristic at the same time.
Polaroid VHS tape is what it reminds me of, yeah.
Right. And then this one, The Incredible True Story.
Which that has, like, to me, like one of the best cover arts ever.
I actually have it. I'll move these. I actually have this sticker on my... This is the full artwork.
Right.
For the people that are interested, it's... His name is Sam Spratt. He does all of Logic's artwork.
And this, and when you open up that album right there, that's gonna like pull it. And I know it's in the plastic wrap.
Oh, that's okay. I keep all of them in this. This one's kind of a thicker album here.
But I knew, because once you spread it out, if you don't want to mess with it,
I'll just keep it.
I mean, you saw the sticker, but yeah, if you spread that out, it's like the full artwork, and that's that's really cool.
This is actually what a lot of people consider to be his best work or their favorite work of him.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think this one, his first studio album, it's called Under Pressure. This one is my favorite. I think it's his best work, which a lot of times, a person's first album, it could either be their best or their absolute worst.
Yeah, so Supermarket was like if you want to explain that.
It was a book, there was a novel that he wrote, and it's about this guy who works at a supermarket, and he kind of starts to go crazy, and it's kind of a journey into his own mind, basically. It's a short book, but I really enjoyed it, and the soundtrack to it isn't his typical work. It's very like Red Hot Chili Peppers, kind of like. I think he took a lot of influence from Red Hot Chili Peppers and Mac DeMarco. It's just he sings a lot more on the album, and it's it wasn't critically acclaimed or anything. Not a lot of people liked it.
No, I was shocked when I saw like online that was like his most hated album, and I was like, really?
And I love it. I listen to it the most. Like it's so good to me. I don't know. I'm just a Logic fan, so maybe it's just different for me. I don't know. I am missing Young Sinatra 4 and Everybody.
And his mixtapes are not on vinyl.
None of his mixtapes are on vinyl. So none of the Bobby Tarantino or the first 3 Young Sinatra. He actually named one of his studio albums Young Sinatra 4.
Which really screws in my head.
Yeah, because the first 3 are technically mixtapes, and those aren't released on like Apple Music or anything because of like copyright issues and sampling. Sample clearing and stuff like that. He used a lot of music from other artists in his beats and in his songs that he said himself like just takes too much to get cleared and actually sold. So it's just on platforms for free to listen to. These are all my soundtracks. So I have The Graduate, which I got this as a gift from my aunt. These two. I don't know if this is a movie or not, but
it looks like it.
Yeah, I think it is. But they're a little warped. Like I'll take it out. You can kind of see. You can kind of even see that way. Like these were stored very improperly.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you can get in the video either, but yeah, you can tell already.
Yeah, you can just kind of tell that they're. This I don't know if this will even play. I just kept it because I think it's cool. The Graduate.
Hello, darkness, real friend.
Also, do not store your records like this way, stacked, because that is a good way to get them warped as well. I will be putting these all back, like standing upright, because that is a way to ruin your records. The next one I have is American Gigolo.
I've never
seen it before, but this was also just given to me. A lot of these that I have were just given to me in small collections. A lot of the older ones, anyways. This is one of my favorite ones. As you know, I have a Rocky poster in my living room. Mm-hmm. One of my all-time favorite movies. Very cool. And it plays pretty well, too. Cool pictures on the back, too. Like, just another reason to buy physical media like this, you know.
You never would ever see this artwork almost anywhere else, but because...
Right. And you got the classic image here.
And I've seen that before, but, you know, I've never seen it in, like, an actual anything printed. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that is your favorite movie.
This is my number 1 favorite movie of all time. This was actually... So, I actually have this tattoo of Abbey Road. This was the first album that I got.
Oh, I gotta get the whole thing.
Yeah. So, Abbey Road tattoo. That was the first one. I'm a big Beatles guy. But then this actually was the second vinyl I ever bought for myself, because I'm just such a huge Kill Bill fan. I also have Baby Driver. This is a gift from our friend Justice for Christmas one year.
That also, has a really... There's actually a second version of that.
Is there?
There's another one where they expanded it, and they actually include the mixes that he did at some point.
Oh, that's cool. I picked this up at Walmart. I haven't opened it yet. But I've been getting into getting these picture discs. They're pretty cool, and I think I'm going to frame a few of them and put them up on this wall over here where it's kind of a little... Oh, I recently bought these as well. This is a...
So this one really screwed with me. I actually saw this one already, but...
Yeah, I don't know if you can really see it as well.
Put it like straight forward at the camera, like, and it's gonna have a bit of a glare. But if you can see there, that's not a perfect circle.
No.
But if you get really, I'm gonna try to just zoom in.
Should I turn this on?
Yeah, turn it on. I'm gonna see if I can kind of show that there are. Yeah, so I can see the grooves right there. There are grooves in there,
and it kind of ends like right here, I think. This is all just like picture space,
right?
Because there's only the main theme. And I played it, and it didn't play as well on this side, but when you flipped it over, it has the same song or same score song on it, but this side actually, for whatever reason, played way better. This one here is actually an original 77 Star Wars soundtrack.
So simple.
Yeah, and I'll actually take this one out. There's some cool stuff in this. This is the backside, a really cool picture of Darth Vader here.
#1 musician of 1977.
Yep.
This album was like one of the best selling of the.
Right. I think it was like number 2 or 3 of 77 for LPs sold.
That's so cool.
Right. And there's just, there's just the discs in there after that. But it's just such a cool little extra thing for the fans, you know.
Yeah.
I do try to buy these sleeves. I've gone through so many. I don't even have any extras right now, but they just hold so much better when you're storing them.
Right.
To have them in the plastic sleeves. But also I bought this picture disc as well. There's 2 of them in it. Kylo Ren, Rey on both of them. But I like these. I'm gonna probably just frame these as well. 21 Pilots. This is one of the first ones that I bought as well. I think I saw it at Target or something, and I was just getting into records. It's kind of cool.
It's very cool.
Like you'd see it on your phone or whatever. You wouldn't realize that it's separate sleeves. You take it out, and this is like a really weird setup here. It's like,
oh man,
it's
so
really
that was
trippy.
That was like an overlay.
Yeah.
That's all the same picture.
Right. This next one here is Mike Posner. Probably remember him from the mid 2000s, but this is one of his more recent albums. It's called A Real Good Kid. I actually bought this for my sister and I. It's one that we share as our favorite. It's just pretty simple artwork. Atmosphere here. This was, he's a rapper from Minneapolis from the 90s. A lot of people from Minnesota would know him, I feel like. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. This is probably one of the better rap albums ever, in my opinion. It's critically acclaimed. It won Grammy for Best Album. I think this is the year that actually it was a controversy. I think Macklemore won Album of the Year over this, and it was a big deal. And it wasn't. Macklemore came out and said, he's like, no, give it to Kendrick. Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
And this is actually of the signed one. They gave me 2 sleeves, which was nice, so I don't have to store it in the signed sleeve. Like you can see, it's just the both sides,
Oh, okay.
Kids See Ghosts. This is a Kanye and Kid Cudi album. Big Kanye fan. I have a couple Kanye albums. SZA. I'll take this one out. This is my favorite of the colored discs that you can get. I think it just looks real cool when it's being spun. It's this real pretty green.
Ooh, yeah.
I love when they come packaged like this and pressed like that.
Oh, it looks like candy.
Yeah, right. It's super cool, and it's one of my favorite albums as well.
Sweet.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I've never seen this version of the cover.
That's because I'll take this one out too. So this is what I consider to be the greatest album of all time.
I love this one too.
This is maybe this or the White Album from the Beatles. They're 1A, 1B for me. But this comes in really, really cool packaging. I will open it up. It's 3 folds. And it's kind of clunky when you try to take this out. But the middle section has a bunch of different pictures that you can have as the... Yeah. This is one that you traditionally see for the song Runaway. That's my favorite Kanye song, actually. This is the one that you'd see on like your Apple Music or Spotify or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, wait, do they have the uncensored one in there?
I don't think so.
That's weird. Like you would think they would, because I I've listened to it on iTunes, and they have the uncensored photo on there.
Yeah.
So it shocks me that for the record release that they wouldn't put the uncensored photo in there.
I think that was changed along the way, where the record label didn't want them to be released that way.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
And then as time went on, with how easily things are changed on streaming services, I think it was just changed on there. This one's Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. Another one of my... This is along with the first group that I bought originally. This is kind of when Tyler, the Creator, took his jump as kind of this vulgar kid that not a lot of people really liked as a rapper, and this is critically acclaimed. It's kind of when he took his jump to being a little bit more respectable. It's a very good album. Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP.
You are an Eminem fan.
I am an Eminem fan.
Okay.
I grew up, my first CD was The Eminem Show. I listened to him all the time on the bus. Probably not a good thing, but... I did have the edited version of the CD that I would listen to on my portable CD player. And there's an older kid on the bus that had the unedited version, like the original version.
Oh, nice.
And I would be like, yo, Steven, can I listen to your version? And there's a track, it's called Drips. And on the edited one, it's so bad that it would just skip over it. So, I never knew what track 9 was. And so I would beg him, and it's the most vulgar song. It's so dirty.
I love that new one. The one, like the Hitchcock one?
Yeah.
That one's really good. I forget what it's even called because it's just so many Hitchcock references.
It's like Slim Shady, or no, it's something Presents, I think. Or no, Music to be Murdered by. That's what it is.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. This one here is Awaken My Love. Why did I forget that? Childish Gambino. He came out with this, and a lot of people were shocked with Redbone on it. The song Redbone is probably the most popular song, and it came out, and not a lot of people realized that it was him singing on it because it's so high pitched. Everyone thought it was him, but that he pitched his voice up, and he had to literally come out in an interview and be like, "No, that's just me singing. I can sing that high." Everyone's like, "Well, that's not actually him, is it?" American Teen, Khaled. This is a pretty good album. Just a lot of classics. He hasn't done as well since his debut album, but I really do enjoy this album. This one right here, this is also top tier. Man on the Moon by Kid Cudi. This right here is peak hip hop to me. He is a musical genius, Kid Cudi is. And some kind of crazy artwork on the back.
Kind of reminds me of Japanese movie posters.
Yeah, it does
how
actually.
They throw the
anime intros.
Yeah,
from the 90s.
That's really cool.
Another Minneapolis rapper, Prof. We actually went and saw him at the Minnesota State Fair. He was the opening act for Logic when we saw him. He's up and coming. He's a little older, and it's kind of a late bloomer, but his last few albums have been very, very good.
Get me off this carpet. I always remember him saying that because he was in the middle of singing and he said that line and it almost sounded like it was part of it.
It was like the red carpet that he did. This is actually an album. It's really hard to see because it's matte and it's indented in there.
Oh yeah, no.
So you can't really see.
Yeah, I think if I just zoom in, I'm gonna be able to get this.
Okay.
Yeah, there. Okay, so you can kind of see it there. There's an X right there. It's a group,
but I bought it because I'm a big Anderson .Paak fan, and the group is called No Worries, and I saw it in Electric Fetus, the store in Duluth there, and I saw it under the Anderson .Paak, and I'd never seen the actual album artwork for this album, so I'm like, oh, I got it. Well, here, it's just a bunch of remixes of the songs, and I don't know, I don't even really like to listen to it that much, but yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie This Is Spinal Tap?
No, I actually have not.
Well, This Is Spinal Tap is it's like a mockumentary about a band, and that's actually one of the jokes in the movie is that they have an album cover that comes out, and they have it all designed, but it comes out so pitch black that you can't see anything. It's trying to make fun of the Beatles' White Album, but they're it's so black, that's all I see.
That's pretty much what that is.
It's funny that they actually have something that's exactly like that.
Right. This one here is actually kind of cool. This is another Prof album. I pre-ordered this one, and it was scheduled to come out during the middle of like quarantine and stuff, so it was delayed. And in delay, apparently they sent out a few of the pre-orders, and this isn't actually what the artwork is now. They changed it in the actual release.
Oh shit! So this is like a rare artwork you got right here.
Right. So if Prof ever really, really blows up, I have something on my hands. But or actually, I don't even know if I do. I don't know how many people actually have this, because I received it, and I'm like, oh, I got my my pre-order of Powderhorn Suites, the album, and here it's not even on iTunes or Spotify or anything yet. It hasn't actually been released, and it got released like 3 months later, and it's a totally different packaging, and it was just completely different. I'm like, oh, well, that's not even the one that I have. Like, I've listened to this so many times already, and other people are just getting it now. Like, I don't know if it was a mistake in sending them out or what. Or
like, you're the only one in the world who's got that. Right now. Like, shit, we sent out just one to this random guy.
Right.
Don't worry.
That'd be kind of crazy, actually. Here are my Elvis records here. I have Pure Gold, Moody Blue, which I think is a little bit more rare album, and it's actually in pretty good condition. From what I understand, not a very popular thing at the time, but this is actually a blue pressed album as well. And
that's real cool.
Yeah. And it says on there it's from 1974.
Is that also like right there? Is that like all of his like EP
probably
and other releases?
Probably just more like a lot of his albums. Yeah.
I went to Graceland, and I just remember one of the things I vividly remember was just like how many different CDs they had available, because it wasn't just like greatest hits albums. Well, it was like original.
The thing is too, though, like in the 50s and 60s, they would put different songs that were still popular from a different album onto another one. This one is Elvis, A Legendary Performer, Volume 3. I think I have 2 of these. I think I have 2 and 3.
I have a postcard at home with him in that outfit.
Yeah. Which actually, I think this might be the way I'm looking at it now. I haven't looked into this one yet. It's kind of a weird packaging the way it is. Oh, it's like it's a picture disc.
And I like how like suddenly he looks like a normal like teenage boy from that age, but
and then he looks like 60 in this one.
Right, like and it's kind of like, is that like an old photo or what happened? Like, oh my god, it's like literally on the back.
Right. This is the volume 2 of it. I do not have the volume 1. I am looking for that one currently to complete the set. Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah, remember when Mr. Johnson used to sing us Elvis?
Oh, ain't nothing but a hound dog. This is a Elvis Christmas album, which actually I love playing during Christmas. It just reminds me of going over to my grandma's house when I was younger, because she actually is. My grandpa was a huge, huge Elvis fan, so we would always have Elvis Christmas playing. Not as rare, but I think it is kind of a rare album.
It's almost kind of bothersome that so many of his albums are just big old words Elvis. Like,
yeah,
they didn't really try at...
Yeah, both sides. Like, let's get a
they
little
really
more
didn't
creative.
try back then to like separate or differentiate these
It didn't
albums.
matter.
They're like, no, Elvis out.
Right.
It's kind of weird because like the Beatles were so big, but they were kind of more revolutionary. With, like,
absolutely.
Doing album covers and being interesting and like...
Right. This is another Christmas one. I don't enjoy this one as much. There's not as many classics on it, but again, it just reminds me of being at my grandparents' house and enjoying Christmas with them.
What's he singing into there?
Oh, because I thought this part of his sleeve was the mic. And I was like, what is... Okay.
No, that's just his giant collar.
sleeve. It's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. These here are my Rolling Stones albums. This one here, I love. It's called Sticky Fingers, probably one of their more popular albums. It actually has a real zipper in there, and it actually does zip, I'm pretty sure. It's like an actual piece of denim. Well, I don't want it to actually.
Is his dick going to come out of it?
Yeah, I think so.
You could see easily now that there is like an actual real like zipper on there. It's so weird.
But yeah, this is Mick Jagger's butt on the back.
I am a fan of the Jag's ass.
I should get this framed like right here. That'd go pretty well. The Beatles are, they started the whole British invasion movement, and they are definitely, they're still rock, but they're more pop rock. And then you get into the Rolling Stones, and they're rock and they're British, but they are more of a, they have their country western side to them, and then they actually have their rock and roll side to them. That's why I'm such a big fan. I bought this album strictly for the song Angie. It's my favorite Rolling Stone song. It has a few other really, really good songs as well. I don't know. This is a really, really weird picture on the back. I don't know what that's all about, but
is that like the blood after he's...
It always reminds me of the episode on SpongeBob where he eats the hot sauce and the face is on the drop of hot sauce. That's what that reminds me of every time I look at it. Kind of looks like David Bowie, actually, but he's got...
I was gonna say that looks like a Bowie album cover.
He's all tattooed up. Emotional Rescue. This is probably one of the better albums I have as far as, me liking all of the songs on it. I mean, you have to own this if you have Rolling Stones. Some Girls. I mean, what an iconic album cover. I actually have the CD of that somewhere, too. The ads. Aftermath here. This is actually, it has Paint It Black.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like the only cover I actually recognize.
Yeah. I mean, Paint It Black is the biggest song they've ever had. I mean,
do they have the tracks on the back?
Yeah.
Where are they at? Because I'll put them on camera, but I'm also going to try to read them a little.
Wow, this shadow is awful.
Under My Thumb, it's a popular one as well.
Yeah, I feel like I gotta just...
There's a lot of songs I think that you would listen to and you'd be like, oh, that's the Rolling Stones. This one here, this is the White Album, the Beatles' White Album. It's actually not mine. I'm borrowing it from a friend because I don't actually own it.
I always, and it's weird because I guess I've never really seen it in person, but I've always wanted to know if they actually did put the Beatles on there. Because I thought that was only a thing that they did for like digital and re-releases of it. So is this an original version? Because
it doesn't actually.
Because I thought it was like the original version. Literally was only white on the cover. There was nothing. But
I thought actually even say it doesn't even have a date.
I think I thought what they did was the White Album had like a numbering sticker on it, and that was like it.
Yeah.
And you can like remove it, but
I think that's what it was on the original ones. I think this might have been a later release.
Because I think like
because it would be this this really thin, clear plastic film that you would receive it in, and I think it would just be printed on the plastic like that.
Right.
But then you take the plastic off and it'd be completely white.
Because when you listen to it digitally now, that's
because you can even see on this, it's like I don't know if this was actually just stamped on there because it's not even on there evenly. It's like kind of at a slant.
Right. Well, actually, that's what I was going to say is that if you look it up digitally, that is what it looks like. They have that the name on there.
Maybe that is just what they put on there on the later. I don't know as well. I know the originals did. It was just completely white.
Day in the Life.
Day in the Life.
I think that's my favorite Beatles song.
I love Day in the Life. I think that actually, ironically, In My Life is my favorite Beatles song. I think it's the best love song. That or something. Plastic Ono Band. It's Yoko Ono and John Lennon. This is a very, very, very good album. This is probably my favorite solo album from John Lennon. The song Mother on this album is fantastic. Double Fantasy, John Lennon solo album. After... it's heavily rumored that Yoko Ono was the one that broke up the Beatles because she was so heavily, influenced on John, and it kind of just split up the band. Like he was more focused on other things once he met Yoko, and she kind of influenced the breakup. Mm-hmm. And she was actually she's even credited on the album. She was heavily involved with John's work, late 50s to 69.
Yeah.
I mean. That's a long time for a very successful band.
Plus doing an album a year.
Yeah.
And it's very
constantly
good,
working on albums. And just phenomenal music constantly. I mean, you would imagine why they would want to kind of go solo.
I would love... I'm so excited
Paul McCartney is just so talented. So musically talented. I mean, the guy... Even his bad songs, or his less... I shouldn't say bad songs. He doesn't have any bad songs. His less popular songs are still really, really good. It's really good music. They're just not as commercialized or popular. Wings at the Speed of Sound. This is one of his best work. even through his Beatles, I think he pretty much. I mean, he had full creative control. I mean, the dude is so talented. I mean, he plays every instrument. You look at his studio, his home studio, and it's a room like this, and it's instruments lined up all around him, and he's just playing different ones constantly, like recording them. It's really fascinating when you look at it. He just picks it up and knows how. A couple Elton John albums here. I only have 3 of them right now, but I am looking to expand my collection. Don't Shoot Me is probably my favorite one that I own.
What is your favorite Elton John song?
I think I'm Still Standing. I love that song. Or, I'm basic, but Benny and the Jets is a classic too.
Actually, no. My favorite one ever is Leave On.
That's a great song.
Which was not in Rocket Man at all, which kind of disappointed me. What's weird
surprised me, actually.
What's weird is they had the song Amarina, which is in the movie Dog Day Afternoon, and that's the only reason I knew that song. But I'm like, it's weird that Rocket Man had that song in it, but they didn't have Leave On.
Guy I'm really, really into right now, I've gone through phases with my classic rock, but Bob Seger, he has so many classic songs, along with like Bruce Springsteen. I put those two in like a special category of classic rock. They're just such a classic sound. I really do enjoy Bob Seger a lot. Fire Lake is probably my favorite song by him. Styx here. This is a classic album here. I mean, you see that, you think of Styx. It's such a bizarre album cover. And then I think this is another one that kind of opens up. Yeah. This one's kind of cool. It's a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Hard Promises. But if you look up in the corner here, I don't know if you can see it very well, for promotional only.
Yeah.
This is one that they would have on a stand that they wouldn't sell. I don't know how my aunt got her hand on it, but this was given to me. That's kind of cool thing to have,
Yeah.
I mean, it plays all the same, and it's got everything the same. It's just got that stamp on it. Jackson Browne, Saturate Before Using. This is a very good album. One of my dad's favorites as well. It's kind of the reason I bought that one.
Which album is this? This is
Saturate Before Using, it's called.
Which ones are... What's the songs in the back?
Let's see here.
God, I can't even...
I'm going to zoom in, because...
Doctor My Eyes, From Silver Lake, Rock Me on the Water. I think Doctor My Eyes is probably his most popular song. I actually watched it in the Eagles documentary. He lived with... I can't remember. I'm horrible for this, but I can't remember the lead singer for the Eagles right now. But he lived with Jackson Browne when he moved to California, when he started his career. And they wrote songs together all the time, and they were pretty, like 18 or something like that. They're pretty young. And he half wrote Take It Easy, and he didn't want to finish it. So he gave it to this Eagles band member. I can't remember his name. Mm-hmm. But he finished writing it, and years later, after that, like 2 years later, it became this monster hit for the Eagles. And Jackson Browne like half wrote it and like gave up on it and just gave it away. Yeah, that's weird though, because like as you were saying that story, I was like taking it easy. Yeah. And I was in my head, I was thinking running on empty, and I'm like, that's Jackson Browne. That's so weird. Yeah, so that's a very similar. I would have. It's funny if I would have you not told me that the Eagles did that song. I would have never thought that. I would have thought it was Jackson Browne. And Take It Easy is such a great song. Yeah. I mean, it's good in every way. I own this because, of course, I have to own Jimi Hendrix. I mean, this is something you put on, and it's just real groovy. Jimi Hendrix, probably, arguably, the greatest guitar player of all time. Some people say different, but he's in the conversation. Every time I see a Neil Young album, I just have to buy it for my dad. This one, After the Gold Rush, this is one of his more renowned. This is a great album. If you're going to buy a Neil Young album, I'd buy either Live Rush, the one I showed earlier, or this one. You can look at the songs on the... Well, it might be kind of hard to see here on the top.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to zoom in again.
You can kind of get them there. Yeah.
Southern Man. I mean, that's probably the best one on the album, in my opinion. I mean, After the Gold Rushes, too. I listen to this one quite often. I love Bruce Springsteen. I need to expand my collection on him as well. Independence Day, Hungry Heart, The River. Hungry Heart, I mean, that's one of the best songs. Cat Stevens, who actually changed his name to Yusuf, I can't remember what exactly it was, but he ended up changing his name and kind of quit making music for a while. But I mean, Wild World, Father and Son, I mean, his music is so beautiful. Father and Son might be one of my all-time favorite songs. It's a really beautiful song about this son who his father is telling him, you know, you're getting older, you got to find your own way. It's kind of it's a really beautiful song.
You own that song twice on vinyl. It's also on the Guardians of the Galaxy 2
it is.
album, yeah.
Because that plays at the end, yeah. Another one that every single vinyl collector has to have. I mean, This is one of the all-time best albums.
It is one of the best, yeah.
I mean, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors.
I got a freaking T-shirt of this album.
You do. That's
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, you can look at the songs on the back there.
However, let's see if I can even. Oh, they are right there. However, this does not have Tusk on it, so
No, it does not.
that makes me disappointed. It does have the chain.
Yes.
The chain would be like my favorite Fleetwood Mac song, but
It's Tusk.
Yeah.
I love Tusk so much.
This one here, I don't know if you know what Alice's Restaurant is.
No.
I can't even really explain it. The whole first side of the LP is one song, and it's this guy telling this story about Alice's Restaurant. And I really can't explain it much more than that, but it was something that, again, you know, my collection is all due to my dad. You know, he showed all this stuff to me, but he would play it during Thanksgiving for whatever reason. It was like something that we did. We'd listen to Alice's Restaurant, so I have to own this on vinyl.
It's a really interesting idea for like a first track too. Just be like one really long song.
Yeah, and if you look at it, you know, you can see the grooves in an album of where it starts and stops for each song, but it's really interesting to see like just one giant chunk where it's just the whole song on one side.
Classic right here.
Oh gosh, yeah. I every time I go out to a record store in either Duluth or wherever I'm at, I mean, it seems like I can never find it. So I just one day went and ordered it online. And if I do find it, it's like really beat up, and I don't want that version of it. Mm-hmm. But
no, it sucks because like record stores are pretty cleaned up nowadays.
I literally bought it just because of Riding the Storm Out. That's the only real good song on the album, in my opinion. But yeah, I love REO Speedwagon as well. Richie Havens, I found out about him because I watched the full Woodstock movie, and he had a performance on there. It's called Freedom. But then I bought this because it actually has this Eleanor Rigby, and it's a very, very good Beatles cover. And he also does Here Comes the Sun. It's not on this one here, but he's one of the few artists that can really do the Beatles in his own way and do it well. Ted Nugent, I mean, this guy's kind of a polarizing guy, but this is a great album. I mean, if you like rock, Cat Scratch Fever, kind of a classic there. It's kind of a crazy dude. So that's the best of my classic rock that I have in here. This is a little bit more into like the 50s era. Dean Martin hits. This is a really one of the better ones that I play. Like if I'm making dinner or something, I'll put this on, and it's really soothing to listen to like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. I didn't have the song My Way, which is my favorite Frank Sinatra song, on vinyl. So the thing with, you know, Sinatra and like the Rat Pack era is a lot of these artists would just sing the same songs, but they would be on their own albums, but they'd kind of share songs, really. Like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra have many different songs that they both have their own renditions of. Nat King Cole, Love. I mean, Nat King Cole is such a classic. I could be wrong, but I think Jerry Lee Lewis was on the plane, or was supposed to be on the plane with Richie Valens and what's the other one? Big Bopper. The classic crash where Richie Valens died.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jerry Lee Lewis was supposed to be on that plane. This is another one that I play all the time. Louis Armstrong is so good. The Four Seasons.
Frankie Valli.
Yep. Jersey Boys.
What's this one called?
Abbey Road. Perhaps you've heard of it. This is a reprint of recent years that I just bought right when I got my record player. And since then, I've tried to replace all of the old 60s and 70s albums that I bought that were recent releases. I've tried to get the originals, or at least close to the originals.
Is that the was that the 50th anniversary re-release, or is this?
I think it's just a standard.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what year it's. 2009.
There was a pretty sick one that came out for the 50th, where they had, I think, some original, like.
Yeah, because I don't know what year this. Or no, this is 2012. But yeah. This one actually here. This is probably my number one album that I own, because it is an original release of the Beatles' very first album.
This was the first one.
This is the first release. This is their first studio album.
Okay.
And it was given to me by a family friend because they knew I liked the Beatles so much. It's pretty important to me. I like this album a lot.
And it was actually called Meet the Beatles.
Yep.
And that was because it arrived in America, so that was literally like a...
The first album by England's phenomenal pop combo. Yeah, just the way it's packaged and everything. It's look at those guys on there. They're like just young dudes. Who knew they'd be so huge at that point?
Who knew they'd be so high soon? Or already, maybe. I mean,
they probably were. I just love that picture on there of them. Just the brightest smile. Classic.
He looks like he won an Academy Award. Like he's so happy.
He either looks really happy or in a lot of pain.
Please kill me. It's pain of playing this trumpet.
Frank Sinatra, another greatest hits, the early years. And this is one of the better Christmas albums I own. Christmas with Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, and Dean Martin.
I just love to think like these guys all got together all the time to do their drinking their whiskey and
just
such at the playing like some gambling games, and they're always just like, hey, how about another album tonight? And just
how about we sing this song? And then they all make their own version of it. This packaging pisses me off.
You don't like this packaging?
No, because look at this. Okay, so the way you set it into it comes out the top, you know. And you're supposed to have it this way. So when you put it into a sleeve, you put the sleeve in so it's open on the top. Where am I here? And now it's on its side. Mm-hmm. You know? So I put it in like that, but I hate that it comes out.
It comes out that way.
It's so weirdly packaged.
Don't let that sit overnight.
Yeah, they'll all warp. It's only if you store them like that.
I will say, I think the only thing you gotta get is you don't have any comedy albums.
No, I don't actually.
Yeah, you could get and I mean either Weird Al or Lonely Island, but there's even like
Richard Pryor. I should get a Richard Pryor.
Yeah, well, I meant you could do a live stand-up routine also.
Yeah.
Something classic.
Yeah.
And then you don't have anything. You don't have anything ELO.
I don't.
As a fan, how dare you?
I know. I do need ELO.
I can't think of anything else. So you gotta actually.
I kind of touch a lot of the bases. A lot of the stuff I didn't show in there is actually I have some Willie Nelson and Waylon and a lot of that era of country too. But I feel like I have a pretty wide variety of what I own. I kind of like to just buy whatever catches my eye. So at that point, you kind of just develop a crazy music taste, you know.
Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for the support on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive videos and blogs, and for only $7, you can request your own movie review. I hope you stick around, cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.